Hey everyone, welcome back to another adventure. This time, we are heading out on a 4-day camping trip in the historic Rocky Mountain House. Stick with us, there's so much to see.
That's right. We started early in the morning to make the most of our trip. After a few hours of driving, we finally arrived.
As soon as we checked in at the campsite, we got to work setting up our tent. The staff at the front desk told us it was a great day to spot bison. They recommended heading out before sunset for the best chance to see them.
We finished setting up and quickly made our way to the bison viewing area. On the way, we passed through some historic sites, including the Hudson's Bay Company trading post. This place has big history. Many years ago, people from Britain came here to trade animal furs with First Nation people. This was the furthest west they could travel using rivers. And their business rivals, the Northwest Company, also built a trading post very close by. Many interesting stories happened here.
When we arrived at the bison viewing tower, there were no bison in sight. But we didn't give up. We kept exploring and finally found them just before sunset. It was amazing to see these massive creatures, once nearly extinct, roaming freely. We had never seen bison before in real life. They are special animals that live only in some places in North America. We were very lucky to be in one of these places. A long time ago, bison almost disappeared forever from our world, but now they live free again. We felt very special to see them with our own eyes.
As we headed back, we stopped by the Northwest Company's trading post. The rivalry between the two companies shaped so much of Canada's early history. It was surreal to stand where all this happened.
Standing in this place made me feel a strange feeling, like I could hear all the history speaking to me. This ground where we walked is where Canada's story began, long before it even became a country. On day 2, we started with a big breakfast. You need energy for a day full of adventures. First, we had to move our campsite because we couldn't book the same spot for all 4 days. So, we packed up and set up again just a short distance away.
Then we went into town for lunch at a Chinese restaurant. The food was great and we met some friendly people. After that, we explored Rocky Mountain House Main Street. It felt like stepping into an old western town.
On our way back, we stopped by the North Saskatchewan River. The bridge and viewpoint were stunning. When evening came, something magical happened. The day was warm, but the night became cold. So, thick white fog started to come from the river. Soon, our whole camp disappeared in the fog.
So, we decided to walk in the fog. It was a very strange feeling.
It was like walking inside a cloud. We could only see a little bit around us. Then everything disappeared in white. It felt like we were walking in a dream world.
Day 3 started with a special breakfast hosted by the local community. After that, we went back to the river for more exploring. We spent many hours walking around the historic site, reading all the information signs. History feels more real when you stand exactly where it happened.
We also visited the indigenous cultural site, where we learned about traditional tools, clothing, and beadwork. We even got to hold an obsidian knife. It was sharp like glass. Seeing how indigenous people lived and created beautiful art was inspiring.
Next, we visited the Rocky Mountain House Visitor Center and walked to the ruins of the old trading post. Only the chimneys remain, but you can still feel the history. There was also a blacksmith demonstration showing how tools were made back then. Then we saw Métis people dance. They wore such colorful clothes and had happy music with violins. They dance with special steps that mix First Nation and European styles together. This is very unique to Canada.
I have always loved dreamcatchers very much. When I saw they were teaching how to make one, I said, "Yes, please." A nice gentleman showed me how to make a web pattern on a wood circle. Then add feathers and beads. Each part has a special meaning. Making a traditional craft while surrounded by nature, just like First Nation people did for thousands of years, this moment made me feel connected to this land in a special way.
Then suddenly, the day changed. Dark clouds came very fast, and our phones made alarm sounds about bad weather coming soon. A very big thunderstorm started. Rain hit our tent very hard. Wind tried to pull the tent from the ground, and lightning made the whole sky bright and like daytime. Through wet windows, we watched nature show its big power. We sat in our car until the storm was not so angry anymore.
When the storm finally finished, we came out and saw everything looked different. Our tent was still standing. We celebrated by playing Uno with our little lamb. We laughed a lot and said, "You are cheating," to each other until we were too tired and had to sleep.
On the last morning, everything was still wet from the big rain. So we packed our things quickly and went to town for breakfast. While eating, we had to choose go home the same we came or take a different route for one last adventure.
Of course, we chose adventure. Always. We decided to drive through North Saskatchewan crossing, Icefields Parkway and Banff National Park. This road would take 4 more hours, but we knew it would be worth it. Our first stop was Abraham Lake with water so blue you would think someone painted it. In wintertime, this lake has special magic. Gas bubbles from the lake bottom get frozen in ice and look like glass balls inside. We promised we would come back in winter to see this.
As we kept driving, everything around us changed. Suddenly, there were big mountains everywhere. Every time we turned on the road, we saw a new view that made us say, "Wow!" The Canadian Rockies make you feel so small, but also part of something very big and important. We took many photos, but we know pictures never show the true feeling of standing near these giant mountains.
We stopped at famous Peyto Lake. You have probably seen this place on Instagram many times. But the real life view is much more beautiful than any photo. The lake has a special blue color because tiny rock dust from glaciers floats in the water and makes light look different. When we stood there looking at this view, it felt like time stopped moving. It was a perfect moment when you know you are exactly where you should be, feeling thankful for the beautiful world we live in.
We continued driving through more amazing places, big ice glaciers on mountainsides, deep valleys, and forests that never end. Then we passed Lake Louise, Banff, and finally came back to Calgary when the sun was going down.
Our hearts were full with happiness and our cameras were full with photos. 4 days felt like both a very short time and a very long journey. So, this is the end of another big adventure. It is hard to say which part I liked most. Maybe the foggy night at camp, or the bison in sunset light, or the scary thunderstorm, or the beautiful mountain on the way home.
Every trip changes us a little bit. This journey taught us about the history of this land, how nature is always strong even when humans come and go, and how sometimes the best things happen when plans change.
Thank you for watching our video. We cannot wait to show you our next journey. Until then, happy travels to you.